What is up, y'all? It's your girl Alinea. Been a hot minute. I do apologize. I am terrible at procrastination, and it just kind of kept happening. So we're just gonna kind of do a pretty brief, casual update here. Catch you up with what I've been up to. Um, Talk about some of the things. And kind of get into all the stuff. So this is my 2 year, a little bit around 2 year mark of being socially transitioned. And it's about three years being on HRT, estrogen and progesterone and spironolactone, off and on. And so we'll kind of talk through all that stuff. Talk through some other things as well. Um, I'll do a whole other video on meds at some point, but for right now, I'll just say that I am on 8 milligrams of estradiol a day and 2 milligram tablets. I take it 4 times a day. And then I take 200 milligrams of progesterone at night because it makes you sleepy. And then I'll save this for another video as to why, but I switched to monotherapy, quote unquote monotherapy, which means I am no longer on a testosterone blocker. I only take estradiol and progesterone. So I am no longer taking spironolactone. That's been pretty recent as of this year. I really like it, and I'll just kind of get into why. But what have I been up to? Still do music things, professional gigging musician. I also teach music lessons, trumpet, trombone, and electric bass. You can see one of my babies is right here. Oh, that's the wrong one. Right here. She's repping as always. Love her dearly with all my heart. And then started my own small business doing queer vocal coachings for people. So kind of helping people kind of figure out their own voice because I spent a long hard time doing mine, and I have a vocal education degree that's just kind of sitting on the back burners. And so more things about that to follow, but that's started. Which is part of why I have been so overwhelmed and busy. Not for the full 2 years, but life does life things. Let's see. So since this is a 3 year mark for HRT, let's just talk anything I've noticed about HRT kind of since the last set of videos, which was about a year and a half. So it's been about a year and a half since I've kind of documented any of these, really gone through and checked anything out with all of these. And so probably the biggest shift, and the most obvious one is since the last video is changes in metabolism, which I'm sure everyone is so excited to hear about. But that is definitely something that is pretty common on estrogen is testosterone burns just a lot of energy. You burn really warm, your core body temperature is a little higher. And I was younger, and now I'm kind of in my mid to late 20s. And so about this time, my metabolism would have slowed down anyways. So what all this means, definitely gained some weight. It's fine. It has gone to all the right places, and so I'm pretty okay with it. It's just one of those things of oh no, I went from being rail thin because I was depressed, and now I'm actually a healthy weight, and society is telling me that I should go back to being rail thin because I am a femme-passing individual from day-to-day stuff. So that's kind of the first thing I've noticed. Is the most drastic thing I've noticed, because I've had to start working out to kind of stay happy with things and kind of keep my waist a little more trim, and kind of all that stuff. People always tend to kind of, myself included, not really follow any kind of HRT updates past a year mark, because the timeline gets posted and it's really cool because passing woman, I've been presenting as a woman for the past couple years, Um, and so like the changes from like beginning of like HRT to year one is like, at least for me, was guy at the beginning of the year, and then by like the year and a half mark, that was like much more feminine. Um, and so that year has like the most drastic changes that everyone will notice. But in a weird way, from like the year and a half mark to now, I've noticed just as drastic of changes, but like the vibes are different now. Like I went from being a feminine individual to still being a feminine individual, just with like a little bit more curves, a little bit more like growth around my chest, a little more like emotional maturity, um, and so like especially as like again like the weight gain and things, and so that's kind of where we're at. Things that I have like noticed, especially over the past like 6 months, of, and I'll like get up and show y'all. Normal procedure. English is still hard. Not good at speaking. Um, especially like my thighs have gotten a lot bigger as I've gained weight. Um, like some of it still goes to my stomach, but it like settles like a little bit lower, kind of over where like my uterus would be if I had one. Um, and then a bunch of it has settled around my thighs, and a little bit around my chest, which we all love. Some of it has definitely settled around my face, but in much more like um, feminine fat patterns of a little more around my cheeks. And so instead of having like stronger jowls, my weight has lifted upwards. Um, let's see, other things, before I kind of do the normal stuff. Like hairline, you can see here, baby hairs, like my hairline is kind of repairing to a much rounder kind of hairline, than like a square block that it kind of used to be. For a while there, especially like right before I started transitioning, that was a huge dysphoria point. And I'm happy to see that kind of vanish. Um, and then like fingers have like thinned out just a little bit more. Happy to say. I did lose probably about a shoe size. Like I went from an like 11 in men's, to wearing an 11 in women's. Um, and so since women's sizes are a bit smaller, I can say my shoe size and my feet size have gotten smaller just from like the muscles reshifting and things condensing. Um, and then like my shoulders have kind of stayed like thinned down. Nothing too drastic. Just have maintained kind of where they were at from a year. Um, I have started gaining like a little bit of like the upper arm fat, that women sometimes have. Very normal things. My waist hasn't pulled in any more than it had before, but it's kind of just still at the same spot, which I love. Gives me a little bit of waist. Um, and then just like more like as I've gained weight, it's like settled around like the bottom of my stomach, chest, and butt and hips. And I believe that is me repeating myself. And so I will like kind of stand up and kind of show you where everything's at. I'm wearing a little tight shirt. Oh yeah, I'm wearing Crucible of Chaos. This is my D&D crew. For the past year, I wasn't playing, but I was helping like world build and back end and DM. Uh, Lovingly referred to as the Dungeon Mom. That was a ton of fun. I'll follow that up another time. But anyways, full body shots. So you can kind of see like as my chair's in the way. Um, and I know y'all are gonna watch that over and over again because there's always a peak when peak in viewership minutes at those points, but that's fine. You can kind of see like more weight gain around my hips and thighs. This outfit is not flattering, and that is okay. Um, and definitely like I'm not wearing a bra right now, so like a little more padding or a little more growth around the chest. It is the end of the day, so I've eaten like 3 meals, and so not as much waste as kind of I normally see. But that is just kind of how life is. So um, I'll call it there, I think, and not waste any more of y'all's time. But if any of you actually watch this, thank you so much for hanging around. I definitely have not stopped thinking about this channel, and I'm happy to kind of get things at least a little up and rolling periodically for y'all. So thank you so much. Have a great night, and I will see y'all soon. Bye.